We started making names right away. And I loved it. I was robbing drug dealers and taking their gold right off their neck. And the shit we did, who's going to call the police on you? A drug dealer?
I can identify with anything that was normal, to be honest with you. But I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
99% of the time, you're going to disagree.
Just like the Donnie Brasco situation with Lefty.
Yeah, because the reason why, they figure it this way. If you brought this guy around, he ratted on everybody. Now he ratted on you. You might turn around and join him and rat on us. So we get rid of you. There's no connection between there and there. And they get rid of you.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Stevie Bullets. What's up, man?
What's good, Staxx? What's happening, brother?
I'm great, bro. How have you been?
Life has been good. Got a lot of good things coming here in Chicago. Working on my documentary. We've been working on it for quite a while, a little over a year. James Forney is the producer. He's out of New York. He's here in Chicago. Octane Rich Media.
Shout out to James Forney.
Yeah,
shout out to everybody, man. Joey Seifert. Shout out to all of them.
Dominic Capone.
Dominic, man. Shout out to you, bro.
Frank Coconati.
Yeah, man. All of them. Shout out to Frank. Frank's coming back on, man.
Yes, sir.
I got to schedule interview with Frank. Shout out to everybody that's watching, man. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. We don't fuck around over here, man. Shit's about to get real. So this week, I got a bunch of surprises for you guys, man. So just hold on to your seats, because it's about to get real. But so let's talk a little bit about what's been going on, man. There's a whole bunch of shit to talk about. Let's start it off with Charles Maseli.
Oh, yes. So Charles Maseli, claimed to be, the only way I came across this guy was, he was talking to the producers. He wanted to hook up. I had nothing to do with the guy. And I'm glad I never did, because people started contacting me, telling me the guy's asking for money. And, and the next thing I know, I see all this stuff on the internet. Like, the furthest thing I want is to be associated with this guy. It's like, he did himself in, and then it kind of just blew up from there, because
I guess he was trying to put himself in people's stories, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he tried to put himself in Joey Seifert's story with, his father being killed, and just like it was just, he's a fraud. He claimed to have all these connections and have wanted to talk to James Marcello in prison, and he was going to get him out, and these are serious things, with serious people. And, that's
the dude that you're talking about, he's locked up in ADX Supermax right now in Colorado. And people don't know, this dude's been doing this shit for years, man. He's been stealing from people and doing this fraud shit for years. And there's a lot of you out there, and you will be exposed if you're doing that type of shit.
Yeah. And, so what it was he wanted to connect somehow, and I'm like, well, I just Googled the guy's name, and right then it was a bunch of red flags. So I told Joey Seifert and James Forney that I don't know the guy. I think he's bad news. And then sure enough, a couple months later, all this stuff started coming out, about him being informant, had all this information. It's all public. You can Google it,
I guess he ratted on some guy, man, for a murder back in 1996.
He had rape. He had all types of charges. That's why I don't mind. I really don't expose anybody like that. But when you start contacting my friends, it gets a little personal. Then, I'll expose you for sure. I have no problem with doing that, But other than that, I try to stay positive. You always get people that are going to hate on you and be jealous of what you're doing. You know, if you don't like my documentary, you don't like what I'm doing, don't watch it, you know.
Go kick the can down the road or something.
But yeah, I mean, for the people wondering like what my documentary is about, it's about me growing up in Cicero. I was a part of the street gang, the 12th Street Players. You know, I had a bad drug addiction. I went to prison. It's a redemption story. You know, I'm very fortunate. You know, I have 3 kids. I'm married now. I don't have a perfect life, but I'm no longer criminal or anything like that. I'm in good standings in the community.
And we
I try
finally
to
got to meet, man. We finally got to meet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, I connect with people like you on social media doing podcasts and stuff like that. You're from Pennsylvania.
Connecticut, bro.
Connecticut.
Not Pennsylvania, bro.
Well,
Don't put me in the Scuzzo class.
Oh, that's what it was.
Scuzzo, because keep his ass in Pennsylvania with Sesame Street, Code of Sesame Street. Scuzzo and Code of Sesame Street are from Pennsylvania, bro. Not me.
But you know, so you know me like on a personal level. I open my doors to you and stuff. You know what I'm about. I don't have no hidden agendas.
Yeah.
Everything that I do, you know, is pretty much promoting my neighborhood, you know, talk about good things. You know, there's always going to be these people, man, that are just miserable, man. And unfortunately, you know, it's usually like a family member or something. Other than that, you know, things been going great. You know, I get a lot of support from my community. Cicero Berwyn, shout out, you know, to all the businesses over there. You know, if you don't got nothing good to say, don't say it at all, you know. But basically, you know,
yeah.
I came from some real bad shit, man. You know, I was real deep into the streets, into the drugs, you know, and I was like a statistic. You know, I was shot 11 times on 4 occasions.
I think you're attracted to what's that shit called? To the lead in the bullets, man. They're just like attracted to you.
I just was attracted to bullshit, and I was on negativity. You know, my mind was in the wrong place.
What's the last time you got shot? What year was that?
Like 2004, 2005. You know,
so that's not even that long ago, man, if you think about it.
No, but I was gangbanging, you know, I was provoking other guys in the neighborhood. So, you know, what happens in the streets stays in the streets, you know. Never told on anybody for shooting me or nothing like that. You know, and I wasn't a gang chief, don't claim to be no gang chief, but, you know, I ran with some rough guys, man. And, you know, unfortunately, I had to go through some rough stuff. And it didn't make me, you know, it just made me more into the streets after that, you know. And as I got older, you know, running with the dope and shit like that, I got involved with some real bad people, met some really bad people, and just kind of like escalated from there. And, you know, even with the police, you know, I got mixed up and they couldn't stand me, you know. Nowadays, you know, I have a lot of friends that are police officers, and I respect them. You know, when I started to do my documentary, I was talking to a couple of the cops that, like, you know, we had a lot of interactions.
Cops that arrested you and shit in the past, right?
Yeah, and they got their own stories. So one is retired.
When I see them now, when I see cops and shit now, they don't fuck with me, man. I don't.
No, me neither.
Like, I got no reason to be hostile to the police or anything.
Absolutely,
anymore.
I got a lot of respect.
I drove by and I saw a kid I knew getting arrested the other day, bro. Driving right by me, he's in handcuffs. I'm like, damn, see, that could be me, man, like that.
Yeah, well, you know what happens. You know, if you want to live that life, that's part of the game, you know. And, you know, that's why I stay legit. You know, I don't have any interactions with police. And if they're good interactions, you know, hey, what's up, you know. And if the ones that don't like me, you know, just keep walking. But
I love the dudes on the internet who claim to be gang this, gang that, and they got fucking doing shows with cops and they're just stop the two-faced bullshit. Like, either live one way or live that way. But so you know,
in my situation, there was a lot of conflict between me and the police on both sides, and it escalated to the point where one of my best friends lost his life. Then the tables turned, you know, and now I've been out of prison for over 10 years, and I have a lot of friends that are cops. So, you know, I support them 100%. And then once I started doing my documentary, you know, I seen a couple of the officers that were dealing with me like on a daily basis. So, you know, they got their own point of view, and I'm like, you know, you have your opinion and your view of how everything went down. And I want to open the door for those guys. So they were like, sure, I'm like, because that would help. Because, when I'm doing my documentary, the reason why it hasn't been released is, well, number one, there's a lot to my story. And I don't want to exaggerate, make myself be somebody that I'm not, because a lot of people assume they know what I'm talking about, and they really don't, because I'm trying to be as accurate as possible while I'm doing my documentary. All I can say is my name is Stevie Bullets. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've been shot 11 times on 4 occasions. I went through a horrible drug addiction. I went through prison, and now it's been out 10 years. I'm legit. I work 6 days a week. I got 3 kids. I don't have nothing to hide in my life,
Yeah.
And I'm just proud of who I am. And, when maybe 10 years ago, people would be like, no, I'm nothing. The police, I was in a real dark place. That's all I can say, that I was in a real dark place, and it didn't look like I had a lot of hope. And fortunately, I came from a good foundation, from my neighborhood that I was raised in. I went to a Catholic school. I had both of my parents and stuff. And then, of course, I had my siblings. And, that's what basically saved me, is that I came from a good foundation, and that when I did come out, there were people that still believed in me. And luckily, here I am 10 years later, not perfect, don't claim to be perfect, but from where I came from, put it this way, from where I came from, man, it's a big change.
Pretty damn close to perfect, right?
No, I don't want to say that, because I'm not.
Nah,
like that.
I'm fucking with you, man.
I'm just very grateful, because these
shout out to
that,
Steve, man. Shout out to Steve.
Shout out to Steve.
Tortola.
Yeah. Tortola. So I'm in a good place in my life.
So I got the video when I first met you, man.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played it yet for anybody. I got the video when I was on my way to go meet Stevie Bullets, and I got the video when I first met him. So let's get into that shit.
Yeah.
And it was great, man. It was great coming out there and meeting you.
Yeah, so likewise. This is what we're doing, is over here promoting people, and showing that people can change and do other things and make it a long way.
Let's get into it.
Kansas City.
Yeah, they have one of those where I live.
This one been here for years. When people live, this one been here for years. They even have their own sign now.
What's up, Bullets? Good, man.
Hey, what's going on?
Traveled all the way from Connecticut, man. What's good with you, brother?
What's going on?
Yeah, Stevie Bullets in the house. You already know, man.
Yeah.
Jackson Bullets, man. You already know what it is. I got a lot of videos when we were driving around. Here's another one right here. This is Frank Nitty's house.
Riverside, Illinois.
Riverside, Illinois.
712 Selborne.
712 Selborne. So Frank Nitty went from here and he walked over to the railroad tracks. Frank Nitty was a mobster. Walked over to the railroad tracks, which is a short distance away down the road. And he killed himself. He shot himself in the head, right?
Yeah. Probably about a half a mile.
It's about a half a mile. Frank Nitty walked to go shoot himself in the head at the railroad tracks. Did he shoot himself on that side?
Yeah, it was on this side.
So we walk down here. And who found his body? The police?
Yeah, somebody.
It's a lot of railroad worker or something, right?
Yeah. You get both sides.
So Frank Nitty shot himself right over there.
Because there's a little section at.
Bam! But there's a lot more videos, man. I still got to edit some stuff and put some stuff together and do some things and some stuff and some things. So
Well, it's all good. You know that we still got a lot of time, a lot of things we can do. Cicero Berwin has a lot of mob history, as you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so my connection with like the outfit and stuff like that. I'm not a soldier. I don't belong to the mafia. What it is that I knew some guys that knew some guys that knew some guys. But anyways, my one of my uncles in my family, my grandfather's side, my mom's side, was part of the 42 gang, which is the original Al Capone crew. And I learned about that through newspaper articles and talking to my uncle. And as I was growing up in Cicero, we have a lot of outfit members. And, I was familiar with these people because they were like everyday families in the neighborhood. So you just hear the stories and you know who is
In
who.
Chicago, Steve.
Cicero.
Or like
So,
Cicero, Chicago. Does it work like that? Like people are in a street gang and then they graduate to being in an
yeah.
outfit? Is that how it
Yeah,
goes?
right. So yeah, that's another part of it is so I belong to the 12th Street Players. A lot of these guys are from Italian. We have other Irish stuff, Serbian stuff like that. But Cicero is like it's an outfit town. A lot of it's just common. So, not saying everybody in Cicero was outfit related, but it's not uncommon that you meet somebody and one of their uncles is connected or something like that, or they have a father that's involved in that.
There's a
But
connection somewhere, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's basically how Cicero was run back in the days. I mean, it's no longer corrupt or anything like that. They got a good mayor nowadays, but things were different back then. And I learned about this stuff when I was a kid because like my grandmother, when we were growing up, had a lot of money. So I asked my grandmother, where her money came from. She said that my grandfather worked for the syndicate. I didn't know what the syndicate was, which was the outfit. My mom had told me that. And then, as I was growing up, I used to see things with my uncle because he was the doorman for James Marcello, who was part of the Cicero crew.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures of your uncle with the hat on and the
Yeah, so my
suits
uncle to
on and
me
stuff. Yeah.
was like an idol like image for me. And as a
And
kid,
B, what's up?
I looked up to gangsters and outfit mafia guys. That was like to being the president to me. That was what I was drawn to. So like when I was growing up, my neighbors were part of the Latin King Street Gang. And that was my first like run in with street gangs in Cicero.
The Latin Kings are huge out there, though, right?
Yeah,
like in that part, because they started out there, right, in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was too young, so I couldn't join that gang. And then the other gang was the 12th Street Players, which was right there in my neighborhood. So that's how I ended up getting involved with them. In my high school year, we had moved to Berwyn, so I was familiar with the 12th Street Players, and I became a 12th Street Player from Berwyn originally. That's where I started. And then, as things got, older and stuff, I was always more hanging in Cicero, and eventually the chapter that was in Berwyn shut down, and then it was just Cicero. Eventually they lost all that crew because another gang, the Latin Council, moved in and
they take it over, right?
Took it over, right?
Yeah.
Which was, fine because, things change. That's how
a lot of times gangs will dissolve into other gangs.
Yeah.
They'll become another gang, or the people will branch off and go into different gangs.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And those guys ended up dying out. So really now it's really no specific gang in that neighborhood. It's just kind of up for grabs. I mean, if there is, I don't know about it because I'm not involved like that anymore. I have 3 kids, so that's what I'm about. Yeah. But
when you were involved, like what were the ages of like?
So I started at the age of 13, and what I started doing when I was 13,
when you were in it, what was the highest age that you seen when you were in
getting involved when they were like 30, 35, 40.
And there was people older than that too, right? In it?
Yeah, guys, old men that just didn't want to do anything. So I got involved when I was like 13 or 14, and I got a violations in, which was like a couple guys on both sides and walk the line.
You up.
Right. And then when I first started out, like I said, in Berwyn, it was just, I was doing a lot of shootings. I I was always I was a send off.
You were the guy. You were the guy
Yeah.
to be like, "Yo, go do that shit," and you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck
All
it,
right,
man."
go. Let's go.
Yeah, because you wanted to make a name for yourself, right?
Right.
So
right.
how old were you when you first got shot? Like when they first
17. I was 17. I
and
was
that
in a
was
force
that
reserve.
was that a retaliation from something
was-
that you did?
Yep. So what it was we were fighting over the neighborhood territory. Somehow they got wind of where I was going to be. We were out in the forest preserve that night, and I approached them. As soon as I approached them, they opened fire, shot me in the neck. Luckily,
You
I was
didn't
able-
know he had a gun?
No, I wouldn't approach them, but yeah, I heard spray paint and. And I like I said, I approached them, and as soon as they did, they opened fire.
Did you have a weapon when you were approaching them? Did you have a gun?
No, otherwise I would have shot. But no,
So that's
Just-
that time you got shot in the head, right?
I had no idea that these were like local guys from my neighborhood. I figured these were some like suburban kids that were just out there partying. So, I had walked up towards them, and as I was walking towards them, they opened fire because, obviously they recognized me or something. And then they announced who they were, and that's how I kind of knew who it was that had shot me.
Did you black out or anything? Did you?
No. What happened was, I thought it was like a shoulder. I thought I got hit in the shoulder because I felt the pain on the left side, but it was really the left side of my neck. And
Damn,
as you
man.
see, I got a pretty big neck. So
Yeah, where'd it go?
So that's
it went in the
it
front?
went in and went out. And then most of the muscle was like just tender and sore. So I
It's a
ended
lot
up
of blood too, right? It was bleeding a lot.
Yeah.
And were you drinking at the time when you got shot?
No, we didn't even start drinking, man.
No.
So
Thank
the
God.
night was-
If you would have
No,
drank,
that might have helped a little with the pain.
no, it probably would have killed you, man. Because when you
Oh.
drink, it thins your blood,
Oh yeah.
and your blood gets thin, and then you get shot and you bleed out faster.
Yeah, so I mean that was just one of a few times that I had got shot. I was very hard-headed. Like I said, as I got older and stuff, I started getting deeper into drugs. I was pretty much a renegade, for a lot of the time. I never went with the flow with anything.
When you got shot the first time, after that, what was your mental like after you get shot?
Oh,
You're in the hospital. What are you thinking? Like
revenge.
you're like angry, right? And you're
angry.
like
I was angry.
you're not scared, nothing.
No,
You're like
no.
you want to go right back out there and be like, fuck
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So
and
did it make you
that's-
feel kind of invincible?
Yeah, it did. It did. And I stayed in the streets, man. I didn't get out until I was like in my 30s, and I was just lucky because I had racked up so many arrests and stuff. And
So the second time you get shot,
it was gang related. I think the third time was like
the wake up call.
no, I had got shot 4 times.
You're like,
No.
nah, man. Probably
No,
fourth?
I hate to say it like that because it took me
Hey, it's
a
the
lot
truth,
of pain.
man.
It took me a lot of pain and a lot of losses and seeing friends die and losing everything to recognize that something had to change in my
People
life.
dying to this day, man. Rest in peace to Savage Studios. He's a YouTuber who got murdered in California yesterday, I believe.
Wow, see. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all it is, Staxx, is that, I'm just fortunate, that I'm 43 years old and to live through what I lived through and be where I'm at compared to where I came from, because I came
And
from
you're in the
nothing.
same town. Didn't you get shot in Cicero?
Oh, yeah. But see,
And you
I-
live in Cicero.
no, I live in Berwyn now. But yeah, I still go around
close
the neighborhood.
enough. Shout
But-
out to Cicero. Shout out to Chicago. When I went, I didn't feel not safe, man.
But
I
the
felt-
reason that
I
I was
felt
getting
fine.
shot was I
Like-
was provoking, because we were at war with this other street gang, and now obviously there's nothing to fight about, because
Yeah.
we're all older. The neighborhood doesn't really matter. Back then it shouldn't have mattered, but we were
Your
we were all
ego was gonna get you killed back.
Yeah, because at one time the gangs that we were all at like a peace and things were good, and then that only lasted a short time before somebody got drunk and said something about something, and then it just kicked off because nobody wanted share the territory. So that's how that war kind of kicked off in Cicero. And during the 90s, when I was involved with it, it kind of got, escalated to like guns and murder and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
from there, I started criminal behavior, burglaries, armed robberies, everything, shooting,
Well, how old were you the first time you went to prison?
like in my 20s. So I was I dodged the prison for a long time, man, until I got in my 20s. And then I started using drugs more, and I started getting, just in a bad place, man. I couldn't get out of that cycle. I spent like 10 years in and out of prison and like rehab and stuff like that. And really, I didn't have kids either. So it was like,
You
I
think
had
if you
nothing
would have
to.
had kids back in the day,
Oh, probably would have been horrible. Probably would have been the worst thing I could
you
have
don't
done.
think that would have changed your
No.
mind on how you moved or
Maybe,
anything?
maybe it would have, but it didn't work like that for me. I had my first kid when I was in my 30. I was 33. So my son's 10 years old. I'm 43.
Shout out to your son, man. Your son's a cool little dude, man.
Yeah, he's, as everybody knows, my son's autistic. So that's my priority. I want to make sure that my kids see what I do now compared to what they might hear later on in life.
Yeah.
They ask a lot of questions. I got a 9-year-old daughter and I got a 3-year-old daughter. So my thing is I have to show them by setting the example.
You got to lead by example. So
exactly. I'd be stupid to get on podcasts and start talking about gang stuff and mob stuff and,
I mean, the reason why I bring this stuff up is because you got to talk about your past to get where you're going in the future. And that's what these shows are all about.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Don't get me wrong, man, because like I do this stuff. I got this stuff, as decoration. And, sometimes it gets to me, because I was drawn into that for so long.
So it's kind of like brings you back to where you were, where you were in that life, right? But when you shut off this computer or phone or whatever, you don't have to keep living in that, man. You shut it off and it's over with. Like,
and for me, it's a way to kind of talk about some of the stuff that I had went through. Like I said, I'm just really fortunate to be here talking about the things that I'm talking about. I don't claim to be a kingpin or a gang chief or a mob soldier or nothing like that. Although I had a lot of interactions with different people that, put me in, different places, and I have a hell of a story, and it's true. I don't have to lie or fabricate who I know or who I'm involved with or connected to.
That's why I don't understand why people do that, man. People
So what it is with me,
their normal story is good enough, man.
Right.
You don't gotta
is I am who I am. I got a reputation of telling the truth. So these people are loyal to me in a certain way because they know that I conduct myself in the right manner. I'm not a snitch. I don't put people's names out there. I don't work with the police. Although I have respect for police, doesn't mean I work for the police. I have no reason to because I have a legit job. But like when I was in prison, I started learning real quick. Like I knew who were the chiefs and who was who, and I met outfit guys, and I already knew some of these guys from growing up. So I knew who to make connects with because it's always good to know certain people, and those people support me.
It's about who you know, man, not
right.
What you know.
And so that's part of my whole documentary is I have a lot of support from real outfit guys that have real stories, and they know I know what the boundaries are. So that it's all true. So that's the good part is so like when I'm telling the story, I have no reason to lie about what I'm talking about, although most of my stories are based on me,
Yeah.
And, it's all good things. Cicero's an interesting place. It's got a lot of history, so people just assume a lot of stuff. But, I mean, for the most part.
Great going there, man. It was really fun, man. It was fascinating. It was.
Oh, man, I got so many great things coming for Cicero. Like I said, I got some cops that, they got some history with me. A lot of people know them, and they're good guys, the neighborhood guys too, just like us. One's retired and one's, doing something else, but they're good guys, from the neighborhood. And I'm like, So I had brought the producer with me to the Taylor Street Fest. Shout out to Taylor Street.
Yeah,
it's an
I
Italian
saw that. I
neighborhood.
saw your videos, man. It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I took the producer, kind of showed him around, to Little Italy here in Chicago because he's from New York. He's Italian himself, and he kind of got like a vibe of like how it is. It's different than Cicero, but it's similar to Cicero. And he got to go over there to the Taylor Street Fest. He got to meet some interesting people with some other interesting stories. It's not just my story. Like when I do my like my webpage and stuff on Cicero My Way, the Cicero Way, I do a lot of, promoting, and then there's other people that have their own stories. And sometimes, they'll come out and say what they have to say. I don't really like to get into other people, like say, if you're going to talk, just basically stay to yourself because maybe that other person doesn't want to be exposed. And it took me a while when
I'll
I first
expose them though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't mind, man. You want to fuck around and step in the shit, you're
right.
getting exposed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any problem if I'm going to call somebody out, I don't have any problem. I'll tell them to their face, I don't, certain things, you just got to, because that, you got to be a man about it. And
Hey,
you don't sit there and hide behind shit, like these frauds and cons and,
hey, man, that's
Facebook.
why I'm here, man. I ain't going nowhere, bro.
Right.
And,
I mean,
I'm gonna make it's gonna be a pretty big tidal wave. I think I'm gonna clear the beach, and it's coming this week. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of good things are coming this week. If you didn't know, I have an episode coming up about this guy, and the victim has come forward, and she is going to talk to me about this guy. And we're going to see what's really going on. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be jumping off soon. And shout out to Dominic. Great time smoking cigars, man. I think I smoked a grape one. I think it was a grape one. I didn't want to. They had like cognac and all this other shit, like that, the alcohol ones, but I don't drink, man. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna smoke fucking alcohol, tobacco.
No, you probably can't hack it.
Just weird, man. I could hack the shit. I just don't drink, man. I just have absolutely no need,
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything else.
Anyone want to go in the bathroom? And hey, listen, I heard a birdie told me that someone told them that I was threatening to put people in the bathroom. I don't threaten. I'll put your ass in the bathroom.
That's right.
So step right up if you got some disrespectful shit to say, and you could get your ass right in the bathroom. I don't care who the fuck you are. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on my show, man.
Yeah,
I have a lot of good stuff coming. I am really excited about the future, and I cannot wait. This week is going to be a motherfucker because things are about, the shit is literally going to hit the fan.
Oh, man.
Stay tuned, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me, and I'll see you next time, man.
No problem, bro. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. Till next time, man. Thanks, Bullets.
Thank you.
Peace.